Hi besties, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite girl Munnoh. Would you like to see how I made this trending Senegalese Zara cap? Then keep watching. To achieve this design, here are the required materials. You will need 1 yard of any fabric of your choice. You will need mako for your Zara cap. You will need crinoline. You will need some form of embellishment, your needle, and then a matching thread. Let's get started. In order for this video not to be too long, I have already done my Zara cap and I left the band open. Okay, I have a very detailed video of how to make Zara cap on the channel, so if you don't know how to make that, please go and watch how to make Zara cap on my channel and then come back to this. So I'm going to show you the measurement that I use to achieve the Senegalese design on the Zara cap. I have 2 pieces of fabrics cut out and the measure 55 inches by 7 inches. So 55 inches in length and 7 inches in width. Mine is on fold and it measures 3.5 inches. That 3.5 inches, when you open it up, gives you 7 inches. So that is what I'll be working with. So this is the right side of the fabric and here is the wrong side. So I'm going to fold the fabric into 2 lengthwise, right side together, and then take it to your sewing machine and sew it all the way down. This is it after sewing. I have gone ahead to sew 2 of them. So now I am going to turn it inside out. Now that I have turned it to the right side, I'm going to take my crinoline and feed it into these loops. I am using the 3 inches crinoline. I'm going to feed the crinoline into the 2 loops until I get it out to the other end. Make sure that you're using enough crinoline so that it doesn't become smaller inside the fabric when you are done feeding it in. So what I do is feed it in completely and I do not cut it out. I feed it into the second one, then adjust it to sit properly before I go ahead to cut it out. After feeding the crinoline inside the loops that I created, I will take this edge that I pinned down like so to the weaving machine and then weave that edge. Then for the second edge, I'm going to be folding about 1/4 inch in, and then I would take it to my sewing machine and sew it neatly. This is it after sewing the edges and weaving the other edges, so it is nice and neat. Let's proceed to the next step. Remember that I left the band of my Zara cap open. This is the reason why I left it open. So I am going to fix in those loops that I created, the 2 of them, the weaved edge. I'm going to fix it in between the Zara cap band, and I will take it to my sewing machine and sew them together. If your sewing machine cannot sew this part because it has become too thick, you can use your hand needle to sew it together. Ready This is what it looks like after sewing it together. So we're going to move on to making the Senegalese design on the Zara Cap. Mark chapter 8 verse 36 says, "What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and lose his own soul?" Jesus is interested in everything you do. He's interested in your business and he's interested in your success. Give him a chance today. Fold your Zara Cap into 2 equal halves so that you can get the middle. From that middle point, measure and mark out 3 inches. You can also use your pin to hold down the 3 inches part. Then go to the back. From the place where the marco stops, measure and mark out 3 inches again on that part. Then we're going to go to the other side. From the top, we're going to start marking out 1¼ inch. I'm using 1¼ inch for this one measurement. This 1¼ inch that I'm marking, I will mark it up to the point after up to the 3 inches after the center. So when I get to that point, I will stop my marking. After marking out the 1¼ inch, I am going to start placing the first band on that line that I have marked. Okay, I would pin it down so that it is easy for me to hand sew it when I'm ready. So just make sure you place it nicely at that mark. Pin it down if you want to, or you can begin sewing immediately. But I prefer to pin it down so that I know exactly what I'm doing and it's not moving around so much when I am working. So I pin it up to that 3 inches mark after the center. From that 3 inches mark, if you realize when I started pinning, I was just pinning it on a straight line, on that straight 1¼ inch that I marked out. When I get to that 3 inches mark after the center, I am going to drag it up, okay, and then I'll start pinning it up that is towards the edge of the cap. I will pin it in that slant mode until I get to the 3 inches mark from the back. I hope you can see what I'm doing clearly. I will take my needle and thread and then I will start sewing. I'm going to start my hand sewing from the point where the marco starts. So I'm going to pick a bit of the fabric for the Zara Cap and then pick a bit of the fabric of the band. So I'm picking from the joining line. From that joining line, please make sure that your sewing is not showing at the top of the cap, okay? So it's an invisible stitch that I am doing here. Whatever I'm doing is going to hide between the fabrics. It's not going to show anywhere. It's not going to show inside the Zara Cap, and it shouldn't show on the outside of the Zara Cap, okay? Once I get to that 3 inches mark, I am going to knot my thread and cut it out. And I will repeat the same exact thing that I have done here on the other strap, okay? So you can decide what measurement you want to, at what point you want to place the second strap. Whether you want it to be 1 inch, ½ inch, is all up to you. So you can eyeball it if you want, you can mark it if you want, but it's totally up to you, all right? This is what it looks like after attaching both straps. I will take the first strap, the one on top, and then bend it backwards like so. So I will bend it backwards and all the way to the back. Note that when I flip it backwards, it will be in a slant form. Okay, so I'm taking it down to where the mako started in a slant form. I'm going to pin it at that point where the mako ends. Okay, then I will take my needle and thread and I will stitch it down up to that point. I will do the same thing for the second strap. I will sew it down up to that point before I move on to forming my rows. If you made it up to this point and you are not yet subscribed to the channel, why don't you consider subscribing so that you can become a part of the channel? When you do, please turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video. Don't forget to like and share this video, it might help someone. After hand stitching it to where the mako stops, I'm going to take the strap on top and then I'll bring it to the center of the cap at the back. So I will sew it securely to that part. I will make sure that it is firmly attached to that part. The next thing to do is to make running stitches on one edge of the band. Continue your running stitches the way you see me do mine. Once you are done, do not knot it, just pull the thread so that you can gather up the strap that you have sewn. Just watch carefully how I'm doing it, you will understand what I'm saying. After gathering it up, I'm going to use it to form a rose and then I will sew it to the Zara cap firmly. I will repeat the same thing for the second strap, gather it up nicely and then use it to form a rose as well. Please watch carefully how I attach it to the second one to form the beautiful rose that you saw in the video when we started. You can choose to leave your cap plain or add some form of embellishments that like I did mine, and you are done. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Until I come your way next time, stay safe and stay blessed.
Town, from London to Taiwan, I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.